Year 552. Constantinople. Inside the grand palace of Justinian, the Great, Emperor of Rome, two hollowed-out wooden walking sticks are laid flat on a heavy oak table. If the imperial guards had intercepted these sticks at the border, the two men carrying them would have been flayed alive. Inside these walking sticks is the greatest industrial heist in human history. Silkworm eggs. Smuggled directly out of China, past armies and deserts, across thousands of miles of the Silk Road. For 3,000 years, China had guarded this genetic secret under penalty of death. To reveal how this thread was made was high treason. But tonight, the monopoly is broken. We tend to look back at history and see empires shaped by iron, gunpowder, and gold. But human civilization was spun, woven, and tied together by something far more delicate. A protein fiber harvested from the spit of a blind, flightless moth. Welcome to History Plates. Today, we unspool the thread that bought empires, started wars, and built the modern global economy. Silk. To understand how a single fabric could collapse economies, we have to look at the animal that makes it. Meet Bomix mori. It is entirely a creation of human hands. Through 5,000 years of selective breeding, this moth has lost the ability to fly, lost its camouflage, and lost its sight. It exists for one purpose only, to eat mulberry leaves and to spin. Legend says Empress Lizu was drinking hot tea under a mulberry tree when a cocoon dropped into her cup. As she tried to pull it out, it unraveled into a single, unbroken thread nearly a kilometer long. Whether the myth holds or not, the Chinese state quickly realized they had struck economic oil. Silk wasn't just soft, it was high-tech. Its triangular structure acts like a prism, refracting light at different angles, creating a shimmering effect no other fiber could match. It was stronger than steel wire of the same thickness, remarkably light, and held brilliant dyes better than wool or linen. Soon, silk became the invisible social contract of the ancient world. It wasn't just clothing, it was currency. The Chinese Han Dynasty paid off invading nomadic tribes not with gold, but with bolts of silk. Bureaucrats were paid in silk. It became a global standard of value, and when it finally trickled into Rome, it caused an absolute moral panic. Roman elites went feral for it. Pliny the Elder, Rome's famous writer, complained bitterly that Roman gold was draining into the East at an astronomical rate, equivalent to tens of millions of dollars annually today, just so Roman men and women could wear transparent, shimmering gowns. He lamented that it did nothing to hide a woman's body or her modesty. Rome tried to ban men from wearing it. They failed. The addiction was too deep. But here is the twist that history classes usually skip. When you wear a beautifully soft, flowing silk scarf, you aren't wearing something the worm left behind. You are wearing its tomb. If a silkworm is allowed to naturally mature into a moth, it secretes an alkaline fluid to chew its way out of the cocoon. But doing that breaks the single, continuous kilometer-long thread into millions of useless, short fragments. To harvest pristine silk, the process must be brutally interrupted. Millions of cocoons are boiled, steamed, or baked alive while the pupae are still inside. The heat melts the sericin, the natural glue, holding the cocoon together, allowing workers to catch the loose end of the thread and unwind it intact. Every single silk tie or dress you have ever seen required the boiling alive of thousands of creatures. It is a biological industry built on a mass execution, and as the trade expanded, the human cost grew just as dark. Once the Byzantine monks broke the Chinese monopoly in 552, sericulture, the farming of silk, spread across the Mediterranean. By the 14th century, Italy became the silk hub of Europe, funding the Renaissance. By the 17th century, France took the crown. But as the appetite for luxury turned industrial, the pressure on human labor became unbearable. In the early 1800s, the city of Lyon, France, was the silk capital of the world. Behind the beautiful jacquard fabrics worn by European high society was an underclass of workers known as the Connaughts. The Connaughts worked 15 to 18 hours a day in damp, unventilated rooms to keep the silk threads from snapping. Merchants kept cutting their pay to maximize profits. In 1831, the tension finally snapped. The Connaughts launched one of the first major worker uprisings of the industrial age. They seized the city, shouting their famous motto, "Live working, or die fighting." The French military crushed the revolt, but the invisible thread of silk had exposed the deep, structural fractures of the modern capitalist system. It proved that luxury at the top always demands exploitation at the bottom. By the mid-20th century, synthetic fibers like nylon and polyester arrived, promising to kill the silk industry forever. They were cheaper, easier to wash, and didn't require boiling millions of moths. But silk didn't die. It evolved. Today, silk has left the fashion runways and entered the high-tech laboratory. Because it is a natural protein that the human body doesn't reject, scientists are using engineered silk for biocompatible medical implants, artificial tendons, and advanced drug delivery systems. Military labs are studying the structure of spider silk to create the next generation of flexible body armor. For 5,000 years, silk has been a mirror to human ambition. It built trade routes that bridged east and west long before globalization was a word. It sparked industrial espionage, funded the Renaissance, and ignited worker revolutions. We thought we were mastering a fabric. In reality, the tiny, blind asterisk Bomix Mori asterisk was weaving the fabric of human history itself. We are still caught in its web. If you enjoyed unspooling this story with us, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and tell us in the comments below. Is the historic and high-tech value of silk worth its ethical cost? Thanks for watching History Plates. We'll see you on the next plate.